My name is Desiree Jackson, and I did my presentation on consequences of freedom of speech, social media within technology. My abstract. In today's society, social media is the most widely common used to communicate with one another, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Social media is used as a source for communication via online to create a social network connection. The main theme of this presentation is to discuss the consequences of freedom of speech within technology through different aspects in regards to technology. On the picture to the right, you see someone looking through the internet and someone is on the other side looking at them. So if they were to write something bad on the internet, that person is always watching them, even when we think someone is not watching us, but they are. Introduction. According to Amitai et Zoni, speech is too important for technocrats to control. Amitai stated that strong voices from both ends of the political spectrum have called on tech companies to be more responsible, to remove from their platforms any material that offends community, mores, and that manipulates elections. Over the last few years, the tech corporations have blocked or deleted staggering amounts of messages and ads, including material which, if removed from offline publication, would lead even moderate defenders of free speech to go ballistic. In transition, protecting speech and figuring out the rare occasions people should be denied voice and should be censored to leave for Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and his fellow tech tycoons. Social media with the amendment. David Hudson Jr. states that the First Amendment only limits governmental actors, federal, state, and local, but there are good reasons why this should be changed. A society that cares for the protection of free expression needs to recognize that the time has come to extend the reach of the First Amendment to cover these powerful, private entities that have ushered in a revolution in terms of communication capabilities, according to David Hudson Jr. For example, the Football National League reaction to Colin and other players taking a knee during the national anthem is an example of private conduct outside of the First Amendment. Next, I will be talking about the justification that David Hudson Jr. lists. The first justification, the marketplace of ideas, is a pervasive metaphor in the First Amendment law that posits the government should not distort the market and engage in content control. Individual self-fulfillment, often associated with the liberty theory, posits that people need and crave the ability to express themselves to become fully functioning individuals. Facebook engages in censorship. Individuals don't get to participate in the marketplace of ideas and are not allowed the liberty to engage in individual self-fulfillment, just like when a governmental entity engages in censorship. On this picture, it is a quote that I've researched and states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Free speech can be dangerous. Niam argues, how can it be bad, and states, the calls for regulating social media and technology companies are politically motivated. Social companies are all private businesses with discretion over the content they wish to promote. And in any effort by government to influence what social media platforms promote risks violating the First Amendment. Now, what would social media be without our friends? Tom Wheeler talks about the fairness doctrine and explains, when the fairness doctrine was repeated in the Reagan administration, it was hailed by Republicans as a victory for free speech. Niam states, if they believe requiring TV and radio channels to present a fair balance of both sides is a violation of free speech, how can they favor imposing the exact same requirement on social media platforms? And I found this picture unique to go along with this presentation, and it's saying that hate speech is not free speech, which is true. You don't say hateful things and expect not to get a consequence behind it. Even though you have the freedom to say things, but don't just say spiteful things to hurt someone's feelings. Freedom of expression. Sarah Hawkins states that for those of us who work in an increasingly online environment, more and more, we're seeing behavior that would never fly in the real world. Most times people misinterpreted things behind social media, or it can be misinterpreted. That's why people should be careful on what they say, because those words can be misused. It's better to say things face to face or over the phone rather than actually texting it out on social media, because people interpret things different ways. Even if it's not what you not intended to be, they can intend it to something else than what it's not. So freedom of speech means you can express yourself without interferences, which that is true as well. But with our U.S. Supreme Court has been involved in this debate for nearly a century and has determined that the government can limit both the content of speech and the ability to engage in speech as long as the government has a substantial justification. That is true as well. Through the advent of social media, we are creating a world where anyone, anywhere, may express his or her beliefs, no matter how singular, without fear of being coerced into silence or conformity. This quote is from John Perry Barlow from 1996. Now, we are able to express what we feel however we want to, but in reality, we just need to be mindful of people feelings or how they may feel, even though we have that freedom of speech to say what we want, because people do have feelings as well. Now, in an ideal world, social media is a safe place for us to express ourselves and to voice our opinions, and also an excellent resource for enabling the freedom of speech and expression. We find that most people come to social media to express their feelings because they have these group of friends on their social media that will listen online where they may not actually have those people in reality to actually listen. So most people bring their feelings and express them on social media just to get a feedback. Thank you all for listening to my presentation on the consequences of freedom of speech. Thank you.